Here we go. We're live.
Oh, hello, people. Happy Wednesday. Even though we said we were going to do Tuesdays, I had the problem this week. I had the issue this week. What is going on, people? Let's see. I'm going to go to the comments. Hello, we are here. We are here. Thanks for joining. It is a very wet Wednesday here where I live, which is a good thing. More of that. And
Yeah.
yeah. So outside of that, I've been like trying to keep dry.
It's been cold here. It was -5 this morning when we got up, and it's 13 now.
-5. Oh.
Yeah. Been doing this yo-yo thing with the weather lately. We still don't have any freaking snow. Really haven't gotten any snow all year.
That's odd, right? For you?
It is. Yeah. It is. I mean, last year we got more snow than normal. We got 15 feet over the course of about 2 months. But it was we got like 4 feet, and then we got 4 feet, and then we got 4 feet, and it was all separated by about 2 weeks in between the two, and then we got a little bit more as it trailed off, which is nice. But
yeah, you need
yeah.
Okay. What's happening today, visionaries? How are you guys doing out there in the interwebers?
I know we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but how'd you like the halftime show?
Oh, it was great. Yeah. That's the only thing I watched. I mean, the game was kind of boring. Even if you don't care, it was really boring. I mean, unless you are, well, if you're a fan of the Eagles, sorry, then it is amazing.
Or a fan of the 49ers. It was amazing.
Oh, I'm neither, so it was boring. And it was like,
I'm a Niner fan and my wife is an Eagle fan, so.
Ah, okay. Well, yeah. There is populations like you guys. Otherwise, I thought it was just the Kendrick Lamar show. So
that was it was nice that Kendrick let him put a football game around the halftime.
I know. I think as just a sports viewer, it was a blowout. So it was so boring. It was so boring from the beginning. Like, oh, they were winning so they were ahead the whole time. There was no tension. So it was like,
but,
okay.
I mean, every Super Bowl that the Chiefs had won, they'd won after being down 10 points at halftime or something like that. So
right, there was still, like a. Mm-hmm.
But by the end of the third quarter, it was over.
Yeah.
It was done. And I watched it until the very, very end.
Of course, you're the fan.
I'm vindictive like that. You knock out my team twice in 4 years or whatever, and I'm going to enjoy you falling on your face. That's how that's going to work.
Fair. I had my moment in the sun in November. That was my
right.
That was my time to shine.
Right. That was baseball season, right?
Baseball, please.
Have I?
You may not understand. You may not understand because you don't have a champion. But
I don't know if I told you lately, but have I told you lately how much I hate baseball? I haven't.
Oh, let's not talk that. Let's not go there because I love it. We will get into an argument. So let's not go there.
There's really no argument. You just like to waste your time differently than I do, and I don't want to waste my time the way you do. It's just different.
I just think football is a bunch of brutes but baseball is art. So, that's you guys like to just have McDonald's, but we're going to have, souffle. It's better. It's summer. You're outdoors. It's like
it is a 3-hour event with 14 minutes of actual action.
No, because you don't pay attention to pitching, so you don't value the art of pitching and getting those strikes. That is why. The art of pitching is if it's just a home run blast, then it's boring as crap. So, and football is
still,
just plain ass boring. It's once a week. Ugh.
again, it's actually 4 times a week. But again, it's
Oh, but
3 hours.
your team is once a week, right? Your team is once a week.
Well,
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
but if you're only watching your team, then like, are you appreciating the sport?
Of course. Why?
No.
Why? It's because you
No.
don't watch baseball. You don't have 152 games a year. We don't need to
Because
argue about this. I am not going to
you,
fight about baseball because
you
I
know
can't
why
talk
they
to
have
people.
152 games a year?
No, I don't want to know why you think that. I don't care. I don't care right now. I don't care.
I hate baseball.
Great. Next topic. Because you're wrong. Bye.
Yeah.
Next topic.
all of my friends that are sports people, I shouldn't say sports guys, sports people, like all of them agree that baseball is a fun sport to watch, and I can't do it.
Okay, good. So your friends
Yeah.
you have good friends. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, no, I
like your
understand.
friends.
I understand fully that I'm in the minority. I get it completely.
No, and I don't even think you are in the minority. I think that's okay. But the hatred is like, okay, all right, moving on. Like, I don't need to hear the hate. It's okay if you don't like it, but to say you hate it is kind of annoying. Like, that's I'm like, all right, well, no, we're not having a productive conversation. We will just
I also hate the WWE, but not because of the WWE, but because of the people who insist that it's real and refuse to admit that it's just a soap opera for grown men.
Okay, well, I could agree with you there. I mean, it's not real, right? I mean, I thought the whole point is that it was made up and it was a drama.
They used to try to make it look real, and then they gave up on that and just went for the entertainment value, which is perfectly valid. Like I'm not going to knock somebody for watching Young and Restless. I'm not going to knock somebody for watching WWE. But if you're going to come at me and tell me that it's real, the injuries are real, the physical effort is real, but the actual combat aspect of it, no. And it's those people that keep me away from watching it.
I
However,
don't care about seeing people get really beat up like that.
but they're not.
I don't like boxing either.
Oh, I don't like boxing because it's too slow. And that's one of those sports where it's all about positioning and the angles and the this and the that and the story. And yeah, I can't do it.
So all of the chat room agrees with you. They don't like baseball. So bye, everybody. Let's move on to the next topic. Because you're not going to get anything from me. You're just going to get me enraged. So let's move on.
Yeah, the fun part of that is already over.
Obviously, I don't have my people in here because... also, you guys probably don't have your own champion because your team lost, right? Okay.
Oh.
There we go.
This sounds awful familiar. Patriots fans for about 10 years.
I know. That's when Tom was like, you guys are the Yankees now. You guys are. I'm like, great. I've waited 20 freaking years to finally have this moment. So thank you. Yes, I will be there. I am that person because we had to wait for so long and we got cheated. The Houston Astros, assholes. Sorry.
They that was just blatant cheating.
Yeah. So they should be taken. Their world championship should be deleted.
I'm at the weird place now where I am having to. Oh, Sarah's here.
Oh, Sarah's here. Good.
Hi.
But basketball is great.
It's fun. Sometimes I forget that I haven't. I'm just backstage and I'm like, la 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 la. Why are they ignoring me? Oh, right. They can't hear me.
I wasn't looking. Yeah, I wouldn't. So yeah, I'm at that stage now where I'm having to tell my daughter, like, integrity is great, but if the ref doesn't see it, don't knock yourself out. Like she's doing.
What do you mean?
She's doing NYO, which is Native Youth Olympics. It's these Alaskan exercises that are traditional Alaskan things that the Inuit people used to do, and they're doing it, and they're all single competitor competitions. So there's no team events. It's all individual. Effort. Okay. One of them is is called the scissor broad jump. You jump with both feet. You land on one foot with the other foot behind the foot you land on. Then you jump off that foot and land on the foot that was behind, and then jump off that and land on both feet. So it's a complicated jump, and it's supposed to simulate having to jump across an ice flow and keeping your balance while having a great distance, right? All of them have tradition, like things that they're supposed to simulate. And these are activities that they would do in the wintertime when they couldn't actually do the activities themselves. So they do these to keep their agility and their strength up. She did that, and she got longer than her qualifying length, but then she took it half a step, and they came out to measure her, and she said, "No, it was a scratch," and she went back to the line. And I'm at the point where it's like, yes, integrity is amazing, but also, if the ref doesn't catch it, the ref doesn't catch it.
I see.
Right, like
So-
it won't be the first or the last time. You don't want it to
Yeah.
ruin your
Right.
whole
Right.
existence.
So,
Yeah.
you just gotta, like, if they're gonna let it go, let them let it go. Because otherwise what's gonna happen is they're gonna let someone else go, and you're gonna be mad because you had the integrity to not let yours go. Just, you're there to compete as much as you can. You're not trying to cheat, but if something accidentally happens and they don't see it, they don't see it. So, yeah. But also, integrity is important.
Yeah, yeah.
Parenting
Well,
is
you know
not
what else
that
is
easy.
important?
This show.
Right. How'd you know, Eileen? Wow. I just, I this is a busy Wednesday,
I know it's
Sometimes
busy
I-
for we got to go for Sarah.
No, but I'm busy, but we're all busy. But it was, 24 hours ago. Sometimes Eileen and I are like, not a ton of Apple news, but
I
we'll
know,
get there. And
yeah.
then it always just
Something
presents
happens.
itself.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's right for the
does.
show. But a weekly Apple show. It's never bare bones. There's always stuff.
There's something.
always-
There's something.
There's always stuff. And
Well, how
today,
about I
no
disappear and
exception.
you ladies talk about all the stuff that just
Let's
happened 5 minutes ago?
go.
Well, that
I
would
know,
be,
right?
That would be great. Not that you're disappearing, but let's start this program-o. Yeah. All right.
Whenever
let's do
you're
it.
ready. Let's
All
go.
right, I am ready. All right. I'll count myself in 3, 2. Everybody, welcome to Apple Vision Show, the show where Eileen Rivera and I talk about all things Apple, the good, the bad, the ugly. If you think some Apple things are ugly, I'm sure you do, someone out there. Hi, Eileen.
Hi, Sarah. Yeah, design. Some people may not like a design, although, Apple prides itself in the premium look of their, products and services and things like that. So
I can't really
But,
think of
you
any
know-
Apple product I've ever thought was ugly. There are certain designs that, it's because I'm an Apple fan, right? So I'm a fangirl
yeah.
in that way. I mean, but even the Vision Pro, for example,
yeah.
you could say it's heavy, you could
Right.
say it's uncomfortable, but it's not ugly.
yeah,
I mean,
wouldn't
unless
say
you
it's
just
ugly
think
either.
headsets are ugly in general.
Yeah, yeah. Then that's a whole other thing. Then, maybe you don't wear goggles. You
Right.
don't go skiing. You're like, whatever. But
I
no,
mean,
I
if you think
most
the Vision Pro is ugly, then you don't like the Quest either, because they all kind of have that same form factor.
But in general, yeah, I think they're always built really well, and they look really sleek. I could have more color choices for phones for the more premium. We've talked about this before, but like the pros, I feel like they always get cheated out of the fun colors. But I don't know, maybe data tests proved that nobody in the pro world wants a purple or a pink phone. I kind of doubt that, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe it's more costly, or maybe they just want it to look very metallic and like jewelry, I guess,
Right.
versus the iPhone, SE or whatever. But I don't know. I wish that's the only thing. I wish we had a few more colors, even iPad wise too. But you can always get a case and change the color. So
That's
there's
true.
always that.
I'm trying to think of, I'm sure someone out there is like, you're forgetting that one really ugly Apple product. Every so often, it's somewhere in one of my closets in this house are all of my old iPhones. Some of, I didn't keep because they were traded in or gave it away, or, the glass was smashed. But I try to keep the different iterations. And when I look at the original iPhone, I have mine. And I'm just like, I just can't believe it used to look like this. So small. and you had that kind
Yeah.
of what now would be kind of a weird curved back. And it's just a very different product than what we're all used to. With each iteration, we get used to the new cool thing, and so I look at that and I'm just like, I can't believe that's what it used to look like. I still don't think it's ugly, but it feels very foreign now.
Well, I did a search for ugly Apple products, and the first article says the 10 most beautiful Apple products, and then in parentheses says, and the 5 ugliest. And this is a 2019 article. So let me see here.
All right. So we're not going to have anything in the last 5 years, but yeah, what do we got?
I'm trying to look for the ugly because the 10, I'm like, okay, great. Oh, ugliest. Macintosh Color Classic is one. I don't know if this is ordered by, rank, but the first one they show is the Macintosh Color Classic. Here, let me send this to Amos
Macintosh
so he
Color
can.
Classic.
Yeah, let me send this to Amos, and there we go. He'll share. You'll see that. It's kind of ugly, yes. But maybe back in the day, maybe we didn't think that was ugly. But it's just like a big block of ice, and it's very tall and rectangular tall. And when was this? What year would this been?
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it now. My uncle.
You're like,
had
it's
one
not
of
ugly.
these.
Okay, yeah.
Well,
I'm just
see,
like-
it's so retro that I think it looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
This is like a cool thing that I would have just like as a display.
Yeah.
Now, the Power Mac G3 all-in-one starting to get a little ugly.
Well,
That is not a machine that feels retro enough to be cool yet.
I'm not familiar with it, but if you look at the front, you've got the screen, and right below it looks like 2 eyes and then a mouth underneath it. So you've got 2, what is that, floppy disk inserts, and then what is the bottom? I'm not quite sure. Sorry, I'm not familiar with this.
CD drive.
Oh, CD drive. Yeah. So doesn't it look like a face on the bottom, and like it would be talking to you? I don't know. That's kind of scary, but
I don't know. I guess this is honestly, if I had this, I'd be like, "Ooh, let's see what we can do with this thing." I don't know. I still don't think they're very ugly. Now, one of and again, this comes from creativeblock.com, so your mileage may vary, but
right. Their opinion.
One design they thought was ugly was the original, well, not the original Apple keyboard, but the circa 2003 Apple keyboard, which was white and curved upward, supposedly, for ergonomics, but also had all these little areas where crap could get stuck in.
Yeah.
And it just, keyboards get dirty, let's be honest.
Yeah,
I don't want to admit how often I eat at my desk, but it happens sometimes. So, keeping a keyboard clean is something you have to do regularly, even if it's not every day. You got to do it. So yeah, any nook and cranny that a little crumb will get into, or some splash of olive oil or something, it will happen. So yeah, you want a keyboard that is a slimmer, more streamlined design.
Well, and then they have the smart battery case. I mean, I think it's stretching these products. I mean, sure, some of them are old and may not have the form factor. Again, what was it like back in the day when they were released? Did people like them? Were they acceptable? But now it's like, ooh. But I think they're reaching for this smart battery case at number 5. It's just like, let's throw in a 5th one. I mean, it's not great, but it's not like
it doesn't. I
don't
mean,
know.
why is that ugly? It's boring.
I know exactly.
Maybe,
it's boring, but it's not ugly.
But it's not ugly. It looks like a battery case. I mean, how cool looking are battery cases in general? They kind of are bricks.
Exactly. They're just bricks.
That's what they are. It's just you got to put the battery somewhere.
That's all that it is. And so I think proving the fact that Apple does make pretty good looking design wise products. So
good looking design wise products. Yeah. I think non crazy Apple fans often will dock Apple for this. Like not everybody cares about having the coolest looking laptop, Apple, and you just do that so you can jack up the prices. And I mean, they're not wrong, but it's something. It's like design that you pay for. And some people are like, I don't care about Apple design. I just want something that fits my needs better and perhaps is less expensive. Lots of people feel that way.
Totally.
But for those of us Apple fans, if you do have an example of something where you go, gosh, that was bad design, maybe not ugly, but bad design,
Yeah.
send it our way. Feedback at applevisionshow.com. We do have a fair amount of news. We got some concrete news. This is not a rumor. This is, as of this recording, new, that Android users, many of them not huge Apple fans, although the Venn diagram definitely overlaps. A new Apple TV app for y'all, for Android folks running Android 10 and up. So if you're saying, well, did Android users, they had no access to Apple TV Plus? They did, but it had to be through the web, through a web browser. There was no native Apple TV Plus app for Android users, which you have to assume. I mean, you could be like, I hate all Apple hardware. I'll never buy an Apple product, but you might love something on Apple TV Plus. You want to watch Severance, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then you've got a native app. Doesn't mean you couldn't watch it before, but it feels more inclusive.
Yeah, and we know that people are on the go now and always taking their phone or their iPad. And I tend to watch a lot more videos on my iPad. So if it opens up, a percentage of people who may not be checking. I mean, they want some subscribers. They want some more new people to watch Apple TV. So why not? Open it up. There's some very good shows. We talk about this, every week. So, I don't think they're the leader in the streaming services. So perhaps they can get a little bump with this.
They are
right?
not the leader. That is for sure. I mean, you might argue that they're the leader in paying production companies lots of money. But yeah, and we talk about, I mentioned Severance. There are a handful of Apple TV Plus shows that I like a lot. I'm very dedicated to my shows. There's not the offering that something like a Netflix or a Hulu has, but it's a different experience. And I think Apple is smart to say lots of people in the world have Android devices, and the more personalized experience we could give them, the more people will sign up. Doesn't mean you're going to get 10 million new subscribers overnight, but it feels like it's an investment well spent.
Yeah. And if there's any curiosity,
the majority of people in the world.
if there's anybody curious, the Android subscribers will get a free trial. Like always, like you get a month or a couple weeks or whatever. You should check it out. I don't know who's listening to us who is an Android also. we should ask our friends at Android Faithful. Are you guys going to get the Apple TV Plus app? Will you try it?
Yeah. Well, so Eileen, I know you're rocking Apple products more than you used to when you co-hosted an Android focused show, but you were always kind of doing both. I think
I was always doing both. Yeah.
Yeah. I know a lot of folks who they really just like the Android experience. Much more choices when you're talking about phones and tablets. Lots more manufacturers, but still use their iMac every day or whatever. There are times where because I've just gone all Apple all the time. I mean, I have a Dell monitor, so not an Apple product, but besides that, on a day-to-day basis, the computers, whether it's mobile or desktop or anything in between, it's all Apple. Okay, my smart speakers are made by Sonos, but it's all Apple. So yeah, I know y'all are out there saying, no, I like both. I like the variety. I like the choice, and that's cool. The only thing that I feel like I am. Sorry, there's a car alarm going on outside by. Thank you. I don't know.
There we go.
My neighbors, man. Yeah, it stopped. But I don't know much about Android OS. I cover it for work, so it's like I understand new features, but it's like I wish I had an Android device purely just to play around with stuff. It's not something it's not like the world is preventing me from getting one, but yeah, that's kind of it's the give and take, right? If you choose one ecosystem that can work in your favor for a lot of reasons, for Apple, I love it because I just feel like my devices work well together. But then you lose out on people thinking outside the box.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like having my Android phone. There are quirks about it that I really enjoy, compared to Apple. And, for some people, it is still more customizable. And, like we always kind of talk about, Android users tend to tinker more. They want to, make it more customized and personal. And Apple's allowing that now, more opportunities to do that. But, Android users have been doing that for years. So I'm going to download Apple TV on my Android device. I haven't even downloaded music on here. So I'll do that too. See if it, how I feel.
Do a little side by side. See if the experiences are like the same or different in ways that are interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's easy for me to just use it on my phone that's already, it comes preloaded. But all right, I'll give it a try. I'll let you know how I feel.
Report back. Yeah.
We'll do.
We'll do a little side by side comparison. Well, Eileen, last weekend, the big game. I think we can say Super Bowl on this show.
Okay.
But the Super Bowl halftime show, sponsored by Apple, has been for a couple of years now, featuring Kendrick Lamar as the halftime show performer. And a lot of people watched it. A lot of people watched the game. A lot of people watched that halftime show. What did we clock in at? 133.5 million viewers. Which
apparently,
nobody's ever watched the halftime show in those numbers before. I think I read a lot of, some people just don't like rap music, so it's not going to appeal to you. Or maybe it's like, oh, Kendrick versus Drake. I like Drake better kind of thing. But I think that, first of all, you have more ways than ever to watch something like the halftime show. And a lot of people don't like football. They're not going to watch the Super Bowl. I have a friend I was talking to, and she likes Kendrick Lamar, and she was like, but I just don't like football. I'm like, well, just watch the halftime show then.
Yeah.
You don't have to watch the whole game. You just watch, 15 minutes. Right in the middle.
Get a flavor. Yeah, get the flavor.
Exactly. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. It was the style was my jam. And I enjoyed it. And I think not even if you didn't enjoy it, a lot of people tuned in. So Apple must be pretty happy for that.
Did you see Serena Williams at the end?
Sure did.
I was like, wait, is that who? What?
Yeah.
And everybody was chattering, on social about that. And I had to go look back. I'm like, that was her.
It was definitely Serena. And it's if you, I won't get too into the weeds on, the Kendrick stuff, but he is pretty well known for multi-layered subliminal messages. I mean, the Serena Williams dancing during his show, not really a subliminal message, more of like a clear message, but there's context, right?
Yeah.
There's all sorts of context in that. So it's not just like, oh, that's random. Serena's one of the dancers. It's like, yeah, there are other reasons for that. So it's all in good fun. I enjoyed the show. I apologize to the Chiefs fans. I don't really like the Eagles either because I'm a Niners fan, and that's where my loyalty lies. But I was happy to see the Chiefs taken down a peg or two.
Yeah,
they've had a lot of wins lately.
Yeah, and nobody's won 3 times in a row apparently. That's from what I understand, and they would have been the first, but that didn't.
It would have been like, listen, if you're either a Chiefs player or a fan, that would have been super cool. I mean, if the 49ers could win the Super Bowl every year, I don't think I would get sick of it. I'd be like, we're just the best.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm still salty that they lost last year, but yeah, it was a good Super Bowl show. So Super Bowl halftime show rather. The whole thing was fun. So I guess more people than ever are just thinking of the halftime show as it's a concert. It's kind of like, what are they going to do? Who's the surprise guest? All that stuff.
And you can watch it if you missed it. It's online and relive it if you really loved it. I probably will watch it again. When you watch it one time and you're like, oh, I may have missed something. So
I've watched it like 5 times.
You watched it 5 times already?
At least.
Was so like he just delivered. That's all I'm saying. Like he delivered really well. Like that performance was so well constructed, from top to bottom, and the dancers and the songs he chose, the medley, and I'm like, who's gonna be next year? When he was announced, I was like, really? Okay.
I
don't know why I was surprised. Yeah, but
when you watch the performance, and I know it must have been, I don't know if you, so I've only been to like 2 NFL games in my life. You know, it's
maybe 3.
I've gone to lots of baseball games, and I've only, well, maybe I've been to like 5 NFL games my whole life, but they're really fun. But you have a very different experience when you're in the stadium.
Yes.
When you watch on TV, you've got like a multitude of camera angles, and you got jib cams, and you've got the announcers are going through the plays, and it's they are hand holding you through the process. It's still sometimes people have a hard time following football, but you have that couch experience. And when you go to the field, every time I've ever been to an NFL game, I guess football game in general, but something where I'm like, oh, this is going to be huge. And I go, God, the field is not that big. 100 yards doesn't look that big in person. It seems so big when you're at home. Like, oh, they've got to run so far. It's really not that big. It's just hard to get from one side to another because you have a team trying to pummel you.
These people
along the way.
blocking. Yeah.
But I assume the halftime show has got to feel the same way. I knew I saw some notes from people just being like, that was like, I don't know what that show was. It was kind of chaotic, and like they were running around. It's like whatever. What we saw, lots of bird's eye stuff. It was like, all these dancers in like extremely precise formation. I mean, it was cool. It was like highly choreographed.
Yeah.
I just don't know if it played the same way in person.
Well, I would. Don't they have like a monitor to show what was going on? Maybe people were just in the stadium, just didn't pay attention. You know how like sometimes there's monitors. Maybe there wasn't. I don't know. Like to project.
Probably had it on the jumbotron. Yeah. But who knows?
But your focus, if you're there, you're looking down on the.
Yeah, because you're there. It's like you don't want to watch it as if you're at home. You want to, be like, oh, I'm watching it. I am, one of the lucky however many thousand people are in the stadium right now also watching this.
Yeah.
But yeah, the folks, it can maybe seem, I don't know. Yeah, different. Depends on the angle, right? Angles matter, especially when it comes to dance and choreography.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, one thing, Eileen, I wanted to ask you about is, do you have multiple Apple IDs? Well, they call it Apple accounts now. They've dropped the Apple ID nomenclature, but do you have more than one?
I don't.
For like iCloud and stuff like that.
I just have one. I've always had one. Yeah. Yeah. It's different for Google. I have like 3. But
right. Yeah. Google it's easy to amass Google accounts. I think I have 2 Google accounts they're separate that I use, daily. And then I have a couple others that are sort of burner accounts that I just use for this and that. When it comes to Apple accounts, I have 2. One is like my iCloud account that, was from the me.com days that I've just had forever. And that's my, whenever I, set up a new computer or, I'm syncing stuff on iCloud, that's the account that I'm using. I also have a Sarah at saralane.com account that I use for purchases. Why? I don't really remember. I don't remember why I set it up this way. And I just don't know. And it almost never is an issue because I just know in my head it's like it's me.com and then it's, my own domain for purchases, which, now that I buy a lot of streaming, I subscribe to a lot of streaming services, Apple streaming services, I'm not buying a lot of stuff. Occasionally I'll buy an app. I bought LibreOffice recently, but I don't buy a lot of stuff. Whereas back in the day, I would buy a TV show. I would buy an album.
Same.
The streaming stuff is just, I'm auto paying for everything. So I'm not buying a lot of stuff anymore. So this is it's very rarely an issue, but every so often I will get into a thing where I'm logging in on one account and it's like, nope, wrong password or, whatever. And I'm like, why did I do that? I don't know why I set it up this way. Well, the good news is that Apple is allowing someone like me and maybe one of you out there or 2 or 3 of you, to migrate purchases between Apple accounts to one. So if you got a couple, same thing with me. I'm like, do I really have any good reason to use that second email address as the place that I buy things, and then everything else on my main iCloud account? Do I really have a good reason for that? I cannot think of one. I think maybe back in the day, it was easier to connect a credit card to that secondary email. And that's why I did it. I mean, we're talking like, this is going back a long time. I simply don't remember. Or maybe it just got more complicated. So you can do that. So this is something that Apple has detailed in what's it called? The Apple Media and Purchases settings. Anyway, on 9 to 5 Mac, it details how Apple is letting you walk through the process of doing this. You basically just tell them, this is the account I want to use. This is the account I'm using. Yes, it's really me, that kind of thing. Then afterwards, that second account doesn't go away, but you can't make purchases on it. You consolidate everything into one place. I'm considering doing this, Eileen, because I'm like, consolidation just helps me in life in general.
Yeah. I'm all over the place. I mean, like I said, I only have one Apple account, and then I have I'm so old school. I have a Yahoo account.
Oh, I have one
and
too.
My Google, and
me?
that's where I put all my spam. Everything that's
Me too.
when I sign up for newsletters and things like that. Let me just. I don't really need to see immediately. That's where it goes. And so I'm lighter on my iOS account, but it is needed for connecting everything that I have, which is a lot of Apple devices. And when you're talking about, once upon a time you used to buy movies and music. I can't remember what was the first song or album I bought on iTunes back in the day, but the first movie I bought?
What?
The original Thor. Thor 1.
Well, what's wrong with that?
I love that
movie.
I love that movie. I know I don't think everybody loves that movie, but I love that movie, and I don't know why I think it's funny, but that I look back at my purchases, I'm like, oh my God, that was the first one I bought on Apple iTunes back in the day. Do you remember your first movie that you bought?
Actually, yes, Eileen, and this one's also embarrassing. Because I bought very few movies because I used to just go to the theater a lot more. And we just have so many more options now. Spring Breakers.
Oh, wow.
Now, I will say, and I don't care what anybody thinks about it, I love that movie. However, it's an acquired taste.
Yeah.
You have to go into it knowing that you're going to watch something real weird. But yes, it's one of 3 movies I own. Spring Breakers was the first one. I don't even know why I bought it. I was like, I love it so much, I'm going to buy it. And I'm going to watch it all the time. I haven't seen that movie in 10 years. But I can watch it right now if I want to.
You totally can. And you can watch it offline if you download it to your phone or whatever. You have it whenever you need it. Yeah, for sure.
It's like one of those movies where if I was on a plane, I'd be like, I kind of don't want people to know I'm watching this. There is still a little social shame going on, but in the comfort of my own home, love it. So a couple little details about merging your accounts. Secondary account has to be logged in to media and purchases settings. Both of the accounts have to be known to be in the same region. So if it's if one of my accounts is in the US and another account is known for me to be in the UK, that's going to be an issue. 2-factor auth has to be turned on. So Apple is kind of walking you through this, but saying, all right, this is truly for someone like Sarah, who's just I just want them all on one account. I don't want this stuff spread around. It's trying to clamp down on somebody doing this for a nefarious reason. But it seems pretty cut and dry. I don't know. I'll do it and I'll report
Okay.
back. You know,
Yeah.
you're gonna download Apple TV Plus on Android, and
Yep.
I'm gonna pay for everything in one place.
Hey, it might streamline everything, right? Like it might
Yeah,
actually,
that's the
be good
hope.
and efficient. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of a good reason why I would want to keep them separate. If anything, it just messes me up every once in a while. And when I say once in a while, like once a year, this becomes an annoyance for me. It really isn't an annoyance, but I'm also
Yeah.
just used to it. So anyway, yeah, we'll figure it out. All right, we are talking about more Apple announcements, some stuff that we hope for, some stuff that is rumored. But first, before that, we'll take a break. So, Eileen, I have a confession to make, and I've gotten over it, but when Face ID first launched, I wanted Touch ID back. I did not care that the physical button going away gave me more real estate. I was just like, Face ID is annoying. What if I'm wearing sunglasses? What if I get
Yeah.
the angle wrong? You know, like my thumbprint, which is still something that, Touch ID is something I use on I don't have it on my Apple keyboard here in my studio, but on my MacBook
Laptop,
Air.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, you have to enter your password every now and then, after a reboot or whatever, but it's a game changer. Once you have that and you don't have it, you're like, it's so annoying.
Yeah.
Touch ID, great, worked well, loved it. Fingerprint, all mine, very personal. Face ID does actually work really well, right? Sure, during the early days of COVID, we all complained because we were wearing masks.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
otherwise, it does work well. But I just felt like, I don't know, Touch ID felt more solid. Anyway, the rumor is that the iPhone SE, which has been rumored to launch this week, now rumored to launch next week, or be pushed out some week from the original launch, we still don't know, will be losing that Touch ID button. How do we feel about this?
I haven't, well, maybe talking to the wrong person. I am okay because I don't have one. It's been a while and I do like it. I literally just used Touch ID on my laptop today and, to log in, I was like, oh my God, thank God. I don't have to find my LastPass or I don't know. It was just very easy. But for the
Yeah.
phone, I am pretty integrated with Face ID. Every once in a while, I'm like, oh, I didn't hold it properly, or I'm wearing, my sheet face mask or something. It's not going to
Yeah.
see it when I need to unlock. But I am okay. I'm curious how many people are, going to protest about this. What percentage of users?
It's probably
I
the
am okay.
same type of folks who originally, well, okay, so you've got the folks who are like, yeah, no home button. It was just taking up real estate. This is great. This is a sleeker look, talking back about design again. And then you have the people like me who are like, I want the home button. The home button worked really well. It had a great, it was there for a reason. Now I got to like do all this like different gesture stuff. And sure, I mean, I put up a fight for maybe a week and now I don't care anymore. But but it's I would assume that the SE folks are just gonna have to go through that same process of like, oh, okay, yeah, here's the stuff we have to do to, exit out of an app, that's open behind the scenes type thing. The home button I just liked it. I like a button. Give me a
Physical
button.
button.
Physical
I guess
button.
maybe I'm trying to think back because I've long forgotten. But obviously, it was a part of my life for a long time, and I remember double clicking and all that stuff. I've moved on. I guess I've decided that it is not something that I look for anymore. And also, it's one of those things too, Apple has now, increased buttons on the side, which I'm still a little iffy on. Like I'm still a little iffy on the camera button on the side. Because when I put it on like a tripod or like my, I'm trying to show you like my selfie stick here, and I prop my phone. Sometimes the camera button, if I'm trying to position it, it's
Oh,
pressuring
yeah, it's in the
pressuring
way.
it, and so I have to be careful that it doesn't actually open it. But that's a design thing where I'm like, oh, it's just right in the wrong place where I might need to, move my phone up, but then it would be unbalanced on
Right.
the,
Yeah.
on the stick. But
It's
that's just a minor.
a form function gripe.
It's just yeah, and that's not everybody, but that's me. But back to the button, I think I forgot it existed until I saw this article today. I'm one of those. I'm like, oh right, we had those back in the day on the phone
Oh,
and
I
the
was like,
iPad.
you forgot the iPhone SE existed? No, you're talking about a home
No,
button.
no,
Yeah.
the home button. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, okay. So when I was talking about earlier iterations of iPhones, from years past, it's like you look at it now and you're like, yeah, it's crazy to think that there was like this whole bottom area that was reserved for this button that you just, once it goes away, your phone is bigger because it's all screen, right?
Yeah.
Like the home button had to go somewhere before. So I don't want it back now. It's actually not something I would want now because I'm just used to life the way it is.
Yeah.
But I was kind of like when it first
Yeah.
when it first went away. So a Face ID issue I had just the other day. So
Oh.
I was wearing the Vision Pro and I was trying to like I got bumped off of my Wi-Fi network for I don't know what reason. It was just sort of like things were being wonky. And so I'm in my settings and I'm, trying to connect to something and it's like, what's your Apple ID? And so I go to my passwords app, which I use on Apple products, should sync between my Vision Pro and where I saved my password on another device on my same network. And for whatever reason, it's like not the right password. So I'm like, all right, just,
Yeah.
let's pick a new password, So I do that. And in the Vision Pro, you're typing into the sky kind of thing, and I'm like, I want to pick like a good password. I don't know, maybe I change it later. This is annoying. So I kept going back to my phone because my Vision Pro was forcing me to basically prove that I was the person I said I was on a second device. It's two-factor.
Yeah.
And so here I am, like I can see through the Vision Pro, because it's got pass through.
Yeah.
But then my phone keeps locking because I have it set to lock every 30 seconds. And so I'm like, Face ID, and they're like, we don't know who you are, So I have to pull the Pro up, Vision Pro up, and be like, it's me, and then put the Vision Pro back down, and then the Vision Pro is like, your eyes aren't level. Are you really, Sarah? And I was like, this is crazy. This is madness. I eventually was just like, I'm taking this off and doing this later, after like an hour of just being like, Face ID, my hair's all messed up now, so. Yeah, that is one of those things. It's just one of those things. It shouldn't happen very often, and I don't really know what the deal was in the first place. Could have been user error on my part where I unsynced something and it made me prove that I was the Apple account user. But yeah, we did get an NBA app for the Vision Pro.
Yeah, I've heard. Have you
I haven't.
used it?
I think it's
meant to
just.
ask you.
I think it's brand new. I haven't used it yet, but I'm definitely going to give it a shot because.
It looks cool.
Yeah, I mean, I have an NBA season pass, and I like basketball. So it'll be fun.
Oh my gosh, you have to tell us because I've only seen like the screen grabs, and it seems like there's a lot of, you see the court, and there's a lot of real estate, and I don't know. It seems really cool to play with. There was your car alarm again.
I tried to mute myself and then it stopped. It's taunting me, that car alarm. Car alarms. It's like, how often is it really somebody breaking into the car? I mean, that's why they exist. But I don't know. Most of the time I'm like, no, you're just annoying us.
Yeah, it's probably, like the wind. It could be strong wind. I don't know. It could be the weather, the elements. I don't know, but yeah.
Well, every so often, that it's like car alarms get triggered by like just I don't know, like crazy events. Like someone will go by in like a really loud motorcycle with a crazy muffler. And then you'll hear car
Yeah.
alarms and you're like, thanks, dude. Thanks for doing that. You scared all the
Right.
cars, you know? I hope you're happy because now we all have to listen to them until their owners turn the alarms off. Great times.
I know. Especially in the middle of the
Anyway.
night. Not great.
Yeah, nobody likes that. And then there was actually one. I'll get off my soapbox about car alarms very soon, I promise. But there was one night where I was staying at a friend's, so I wasn't at my own house, and I've heard my own car alarm because once I like locked myself out of the car and I got in a weird way, and the car was like, a thief. I'm like, no, it's me. So I know what it sounds like, but that only happened once a long time ago. And so I don't really remember what it sounds like. So I'm at my friend's, my car's in their driveway, and there's this car alarm going off, and it will stop, and it starts again. And I was like, is that my car? Because if it is, I feel horrible.
Right,
like I'm in a
right.
weird place that I don't usually park. And so I go out there. It wasn't my car, but I was like,
If it was.
because I was so mad. Like it was like 2 a.m. We're all trying to sleep, and I was like, what if it's me the whole time? I couldn't live with myself. So yeah, all is well.
it wasn't, yeah.
eventually stopped, and I don't really know why it started in the first place.
I did pull up the NBA app. I don't know if you have it, Amos, just to show the for those of us on video what it looks like. But there's some really cool. It'll be cool to see you try it. There's like even I don't know. Let's see here. Like you could see the whole court. You can move the court up and down. It's kind of crazy. Like you can.
Yeah, I mean, if it was just the game, it would still be cool. The way that it's cool to watch any media in kind of a wraparound experience. But yeah, to have a little fun with it, I am into that for sure.
Awesome.
So yeah, I will watch an NBA game and I will report back. We have some other rumors. The couple come from Mark Gurman, a notorious Apple leaker who knows more about Apple than anyone else that I know. The new chip possibly coming for Apple Vision Pro. Speaking of the Pro, apparently Apple has been reaching out to some outlets about something Vision Pro related. A lot of people say maybe it's an A5 chip that's going to be included in new Vision Pros going forward, or anything else Vision Pro related. Also, this one is interesting to me, Eileen, an M4 MacBook Air. Now I've got a M1 MacBook Air circa 2020.
Wow.
Got it right when it was the first M1 anything. And I love it. There's nothing wrong with this laptop. I mean, maybe it's a little slower than it was in the early days, but boy, has it held up. I do not need an M4. But if there is one, that's going to be like, okay, that'll be my upgrade. I've got the M4 Mac Mini I'm using right now. And it, besides a few hiccups when I was just setting things up from scratch, because I didn't use a restore from a backup, it is just a great little machine. I absolutely love it. It's my best friend. So an M4 MacBook Air would be a splurge, but would be a good one. I'm all in on the M4s.
You're gonna go in as soon as if it posts. If we get an announcement, you're in. You're like
I'm
day
in.
one.
My pocketbook
Okay.
is not in. My pocketbook says, please don't do this. But we'll see. It's almost like, not that I want something bad to happen to my current Air, because I really do love it. It's a great machine. I don't need a new laptop, but it's one of those like, well, it's only an M1, and what about an M4? It'll be that much better.
You actually had me looking. I'm like, what is mine? My MacBook Pro. It is an M1. It is an M1.
Yeah.
But I am like you. It serves my needs, and I don't have. I know what that feeling when you need to upgrade, when everything is slow, things are just not working.
Yep.
Apps get broken. Like I haven't had that. Oh gosh, now that I've said that, I haven't.
I know. Way to
had that
jinx
problem.
yourself.
I know. So my little MacBook Pro is the 14 inches is the it's still going strong. So I don't know when. I think I just, for laptops in particular, I kind of wait till it's really like it's slow and it
When
really
it, yeah,
needs to.
when you know it's time. So my MacBook Air, yeah, so that's 2020. Before that, the last laptop that I bought, which actually until I bought my first Mac Mini, also served as my desktop computer because I would just bring it into the office and use a external monitor. Was a MacBook Pro that I bought in 2016. I had left a job where I had a laptop, a MacBook Pro with my job, left the job and couldn't keep the laptop. It was theirs. It wasn't mine. So I come home and I'm like, I need to buy a laptop like today because I don't have another computer. I mean, I had like some really old stuff, but I was like, I need something that's modern. So 2016 was when I bought that computer, and it was a great road warrior for a few years, but it started to, I had a display issue where I had to, send it off for a few days to Apple, to get it fixed. What did I even do during that time? I used one of my older machines, which was just, a nightmare, but we got through it. That's actually the reason that I bought my first Mac Mini, because I was like, I can't use this as my primary computer. This is, I have to have a desktop of whatever kind of desktop it is.
Yeah.
And then the laptop, and that's why the Mac Mini was attractive to me, because it was, not cheap, but, it felt more affordable than something else I could have bought. I could have bought like top of the line iMac at the time. But so that MacBook Pro, it really started to crap the bed right around the time that I got the M1 MacBook Air that I'm using now. It was usable. I used it every day, but it was like when I restarted, I'm like, I might as well go make a pot of coffee because it's going to take a while, to like cycle through this stuff. I just got used to that. And then when I got the M1, I was like, wow.
Oh,
I just
it's like all
forgot,
that time.
because you just get used to things being sluggish until they are not anymore. And then you're like,
Right.
oh man, I still have that machine. It's
You
behind
do?
me. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. Well, because it's like, in an emergency, it's
Recycling,
always
yeah.
good to have
Oh,
something. But I mean, I haven't turned it on in forever. And I'm like, I
You'd have to charge it.
don't
yeah.
want to. Yeah. Yeah, I would have to
Yeah.
charge it for days. Yeah. There was one point where, for some reason, I had like Photoshop templates on the old Pro, and so I would use it for like a specific task once in a while. And I was lazy enough to the point where I didn't just transfer everything to the Air. And it got to the point where I'm like, Sarah, you're being crazy. Like there's no reason to use this emergency backup MacBook Pro unless you're just masochistic. There's just no reason. If you're in a hurry, don't use it, because it's just going to wheeze the whole time and just be like, cough, cough. Okay. Let me open up Adobe Photoshop for the next 5 minutes.
I go back and forth about the Air or the Pro, and I always go to the Pro because I always think I need more, I don't know, horsepower or whatever. But the Airs are becoming, they stand on their own. So I don't know. I had an Air before this Pro. I had an Air. I can't remember. I can probably figure out what generation that was. And I really loved it because it was so thin, it was so light, and I didn't need it for more than
Pros
just
are too now, though. It's like
they're getting light. Yeah.
You've got some different specs. You have a slightly different form factor. The Pro used to be bulky, but like it was like the power user laptop. And when I had a MacBook Air a long time ago, and this is before Retina display. So it was like, like you could get the Retina display with the Pro, but not with the Air. And so when once I went Retina, I was like, I can't use this Air anymore. It's like the difference between me wearing contacts right now and not. It's like I either can't see or I can see really well. Now with the Air, it's like I don't push it to the absolute limit the way that it just depends on what you use your system for. But I mean, I use it pretty heavy. Like I run that thing hard, and I've never thought to myself, gosh, I really need a Pro. But again, I think that's, all the Apple Silicon series of chips, starting with the M1, changed the game.
Yeah.
Because my, like I said before, my MacBook Pro, which was only a few years older, but was running on an Intel chip, it was suffering. It was like, Sarah, you're running me too hard. I'm an old workhorse. My M1 is like, I am cheerful. I don't even make fan noise.
Come over here. It's always great
Yeah.
here. So,
it's
just
fine.
abandon the other. It's not, you don't need it. You don't need it. But yeah, I was actually, now I'm prompting myself to do a comparison on the Apple's website to be like, do I really need a Pro? I'm thinking holistically now. Do I really need it? I think the Airs are pretty darn good, but in my head, I'm like, no, I need more horsepower. Do I?
Yeah, there's a part
I
of
don't
me
know.
that's like, if it works for you, it's like, because you're trying to kind of future proof, right? It's like,
Yeah, exactly.
get the most powerful computer that you can afford, that makes sense for you to have also. But so I tend to max out on certain things. But like with my Mac Mini, when I got it, I could have maxed out on I don't know, what was it, 4 terabytes or something of internal storage, and I was like, I just need the one. Because I do everything in the cloud. It's like, I really don't need a lot of internal solid state storage.
Right.
I'm sure I could find a reason to have it, but I don't know. I just don't need it. So I don't need to pay for that.
I think it depends on what you need your device for, right? If you need it for a work, now, I'm always saying it's because of editing. I edit, and now I don't know. I feel like as I'm looking at a 15-inch Air compared to a 14-inch Pro. Okay, there's a couple, sure, the display size, but then the chip is, one is M3 versus M4, or I could choose the M4 Air. Oh no, I can't. They don't have. That's what we were talking about. And then
It's rumored. It's
rumored. Then they both have Apple Intelligence, and then there's 8 core versus 10 core. CPU, 10 core versus 10 core, same GPU. And then the memory, one only goes up to 24, and then the Pro goes up to 32. So, that's maybe where, but the storage is the same at 2 terabytes. And then, okay, the battery life might be better for the Pro, apparently, 24 hours versus 18 hours. So there's a little, it's like, to me, if you're not a heavy, if you don't have to use programs that need a lot of memory, they're very close, very, very close. And then
there are definitely some use cases, where it's like battery life, we're talking, what are we talking, like 6 hours difference, on a good day between the Pro and the Air. There are people who say no, that's actually really important, and here's why. And I think that's why sometimes I feel like, especially in the laptop department, I'm like, sometimes Apple, it's a little muddled. It's like, what is, I don't know, all this stuff kind of looks the same, and the specs are more or less the same, but there's always that person who's like, nope, this is the one I want, and this is why. I work from home, so I'm never far away from a USB-C plug. So it's not like I'm never to the point where I'm like, oh man, if only I had a few more hours on this battery charge, I could have gotten so much more work done. I'm just, it's...
Here, plug it in. Yeah.
You don't
have to worry about it.
Except in a very, very occasional case where I'm traveling or whatever, it's not a big deal. You get into a routine. It's like, every so often, you got to plug it in. But yeah, it's good to have options. Good to have options.
So G. James B. in our chat says, I use my M1 MacBook Pro more than my M3 Mac Pro. I'm like,
really?
Wow. Well, that's what he says right there. I'm like, okay, use case, right? So the desktop versus the MacBook. So perhaps because of travel, G. James B.
Well, yeah, the Mac Pro wouldn't be all that portable. I mean, you could do it, but
yeah, you could, but
it's not the same. You can't put it in like a sleek little tote bag. I have to say, so in my office that I'm in now, using my Mac Mini, I've got a hand-me-down Dell monitor that a friend gave me, which is really nice. It's great. This is a great setup for me. But recently, and I think a lot of you might relate to this. So recently I did a little house cleaning in my house where I'm like, this table is weird. It doesn't get enough sunlight in this corner. I'm just going to move some furniture around and see what sticks. And so I moved this little it's like a little breakfast nook table. Just like you only can really have like 2 or 3 chairs around this table, into a front room where it was sort of like kind of buried in a weird place that I never wanted to sit otherwise. So in the morning now, even though I've got my office, which is, I mean, arguably the most comfortable spot and is the best setup for working all day, in the morning I'll use my air at that little table, in the sun, drinking my coffee. And then, at some point I'm like, all right, got to get into the office and, let's take the day seriously. But it's nice to have options.
Yeah.
It really is. And I know not everybody can say that. So I'm not trying to like do a flex here or whatever. But it's like, I like to have the laptop and kind of like, I can move it around. I can move it, go wherever I want with it. And then I kind of do like, all right, we're sitting in the office for a while. But it kind of breaks up the day.
Yeah, you have like it's almost like having 2 offices, Yeah,
exactly.
G James B said, not doing much travel answered my question. It's just the MacBook Pro is more convenient. And there you go. So kind of what you were describing is just convenient to like, okay, I'll do some work over here in this room, but then when I'm doing my real work, okay, then it's time for the other device. So
honestly, I wish I could say, oh, there's only like certain things my Mac Mini can handle, and that's why I have to be in this room, because that would justify my purchase. But it's like, no, I could do literally everything on the air. I could host podcasts. I could, hook up everything that I've got hook up to the Mini. Sure, I might have to use a few extenders because the Mac Mini has fewer inputs, but I could do everything, including use this mic that I'm using right now on my MacBook Air. It would require some setup and maybe be ergonomically not the best idea. I would have to balance it on some books. But it machine wise, like workhorse wise, it would be fine.
Yeah.
I could do it.
Yeah.
So
See?
there you go. Nice to have options. All right. So a couple other stories before we get out of here. This one's kind of fun, Eileen. There is a video that floated around from Apple from, within the research department of some robotic-esque prototype lamp. Did you see the video of the human and the lamp dancing to music together?
Yeah. And, it's like the Pixar lamp, right? Like moving and
Pixar-esque, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like it's moving with you. It's dancing with you. The light, if you move your hand, it moves with you as well. I think it's cool. I think, what this is sort of like, okay, here's Apple experimenting with the future of robotics. And what does that look like for their products? Is it really going to dance with you? Maybe not, but maybe it can. Like, it's just like an added, feature just for fun. Right. But for, the main purpose is maybe it tracks you, it follows you. And so you always have that light. You don't have to worry about, I got to go back here and lean here to get the light, right?
Sure. So, yeah. Like a smart light plus, right? But, it's sort of like, we've got those night lights in our bathrooms. Like you walk into the bathroom, light goes on. Like, oh, okay, now it's not pitch dark, that kind of thing. But yeah, I I saw this and I was like, there's just no scenario unless, like, I don't know, it was a party trick for like young children where I would want my lamp to dance with me. It's just not a thing I would want to do. But I think that that's also just, they're having some fun with what can we program to make happen.
Right.
When we talk about robotics in the home, and by the way, just today, Ming-Chi Kuo, who is an Apple analyst and also has a pretty good track record with the rumor mill, with stuff that ends up becoming true. Said that Apple definitely working on robotics in the home. Some of it humanoid, meaning supposed to look like a person, in some form. Some of it not. And we might start seeing products like this, but not until about 2028.
Okay.
It's like deep research. Somebody's in a basement somewhere just playing around with robot lamps that dance with you and
fun
figuring
job.
out like, okay, I know, right? Yeah.
I want to do that. Like
I know, I'm
gestures,
like,
speak to me. Like you're gonna like you.
it's
this
like
is what you're
America's
doing.
Test Kitchen, but we're just testing robots. Like, what works? Do they make
Yeah.
spaghetti? But but yeah, we were having some fun on this recently on DTNS Live, and talking about like what kind of robots do people actually want. Sometimes you don't know what you want until you get it, and then you go, oh yeah, how cool. I mean, I always gravitate towards like it vacuums for me. Well, robot vacuums aren't perfect, but they exist. You'd really have to reinvent the wheel to like get me excited about a robot vacuum. But what if there are just things we haven't thought about yet? I mean, if a robot could do my laundry, great. But I'm like,
oh yeah,
could it really though? Does it really know like what not to put in the dryer so that my sweater doesn't shrink? Maybe that'd be cool.
Yeah, it could sense
if it
it.
Can, let's see it.
You could probably set it so it knows, this, if it can actually, use like a tracking ID. Oh, this orange sweater can only be washed in cold and do not put it in the dryer. Like you can maybe even like at some point, have settings so that each piece of clothing, the robot knows how to, it will learn how to actually do the laundry for you. I was like thinking about this just now. And the first thing that came into my head, because I hate doing this, is chopping it's the prep for cooking.
Yes.
I love cooking, but I honestly, sometimes I'm like, oh, but I have to cut the broccoli and the onion. Like, can someone just do that for me? And yes, you can buy them pre-cut. I know, but they're more expensive that way. And I like, I like getting the real onion, the real whatever. But it takes time. And then, it's time I don't want. I just want to like get in there. Like, hey, let's boil that water. Let's,
like we're
saute
ready.
that pan and let's
everything
get in
has
there.
been
Let's do the thing.
prepped.
I need a sous chef robot. That's what I'm asking for. Is basically.
I am so with you on this.
I will even put all the ingredients.
Yes. Yeah, because
I'll put the ingredients on the table, and then they just go to town, and then I'll take it and cook on the stove.
Right, like you're still like it's still your vision, right?
Yeah,
like it's still the meal that you're gonna make anyway. But yeah, that is my number one thing. If that could possibly happen, it's the number one reason that sometimes I gravitate towards like, I just don't want to like be on my feet in the kitchen for the next hour, like chopping onions. And potentially like nicking myself on the hand, or it's like I can do it. I know how to do it, but it's not. It's like busy work. It's busy work in the way that if you're on the internet and you want to be creative, but you have to do like a bunch of different publishing stuff in order to like get that creative process to the masses. It's like it's busy work. Somebody has to do it.
Somebody has to.
Yes, give me a kitchen robot.
Please, because they could probably julienne and dice way better than me. And also, like when you use the like shredding your cheese and all that, I like making hash browns, but I got to shred it, and I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, it doesn't take that long. These are very like minor complaints.
Minor complaints, yeah. But it's also like if there were just some way to be like, here's your cutting board, next to the sink. It's not only the prep, but it's also the cleanup of the prep.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes I'm, sometimes you go a little crazy for a meal and you're like, that was amazing. And I have so much to clean up in the kitchen now.
Yeah.
But I'm full and I just want to relax and I don't want to do it. It's like, if the robot could do that, oh my gosh, I would be the most creative chef ever.
The prep and the cleanup. And then, hopefully the robot will learn, your spices, you might need to replace the spice, this is expired, that, just kind of keeping track. Of sometimes I'm like, is this still good? Like I made chili this weekend and I noticed we had a full chili powder, new one, but we still had, a little bit of an old one. And I was like, maybe this, how old is this? I don't remember. I used it.
Sometimes they don't turn, but sometimes they do.
And it looked
fine. Sometimes you don't know until it's too late and you're like, not good.
Thankfully it was fine, but there was part of me that's like, I wonder if I just use, I don't know when the next time I'm going to make chili. maybe I should have just opened the new one, and I finished the old one. It was done. It's done, right? We're
Sure, yeah, 'cause
moving
you're
on.
trying not to waste stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to waste, but if the robot could tell me, yes, this is expired, you should throw this out, and I don't have to think about it, thank you. That's what I want.
I had this situation. This was like not that recently, but I was at my mom's house and I do these overnight oats. Oh, it's oatmeal.
Okay, yeah.
But it's steel cut oats. So you put a bunch of stuff in there. You soak it. It can be soaked for a long time, but like 12 hours minimum. Like you have to think about it beforehand.
Okay.
And then you can heat it up, I guess, but I eat it cold. And it's delicious. And my mom was like, well, can you make it? I don't really, I was like, I want overnight oats. Well, I was staying with her. And so I made it. And so, the next day we're eating it. And she's like, this is interesting. Like, you like this?
Oh, no.
And I had served her before myself. And I was like, oh, I love it. It's really good for you, oatmeal. And then I had a bite and I was like, ooh. Something's very wrong here. How long have you had this tin of oatmeal? Mm-hmm. And she was like, I don't know. It was sealed. And I'm like, I don't know.
But still.
I think even oats go bad. This is not good. Like, let's throw this out. It was like, it tasted like dirt. Where I'm like, this is not what I wanted you to eat.
Yes.
Like, please don't think this is what this is supposed
She's like,
to
I don't
taste like.
believe you. Oats are terrible.
Yeah, she was like, I don't like this weird overnight oats thing. And I'm like, no. We need new oats. Let's start from scratch. But yes, if the robot can help us not be in that situation, not really sure if the sniffing robot is something that Apple is working on. But if so, thank you, Apple, in advance. Can't wait to have my robot arm be our sous chef in the kitchen.
Thank you. We'll accept
finally,
it whenever.
speaking of health, because we're talking about eating healthy, kind of. The new hotness in Apple research land is a new Apple health study that is something that is opt-in, not something that they're doing behind the scenes. If you wear an Apple Watch, if you've got an iPhone type thing, you can opt into the survey. It's through the iOS research app. So this is something that you have to like download, and then you have to install. You have to go there. You have to be like, I want to be part of Apple Health Research. There are a variety of research programs going on right now that already exist. I've been participating in a couple of them. The newest one is it's pretty cool. It's designed to give you more data on, whether your sleep patterns affect, your mood, your exercise levels, blood pressure. It's all, this is how health surveys go on through the medical industry all the time. But if a lot of people sign up for a new survey, and of course you have to trust Apple to do the right thing with your data. The most recent research is going through, is being spearheaded by top cardiac doctors at Harvard University. Like these people are they're the real deal. You can help the company give you more data on stuff that might matter to you. I mean, I'm not super worried about a heart attack these days, but boy, would I want my Apple Watch to tell me if I should, go see my doctor before something terrible happened, and then I go see my doctor. This is a device I'm wearing all day, every day. I'm wearing it overnight. This is great data for Apple to have, and it's anonymous, so it's not like they're like, oh, we know Sarah's like secretly smoking Pall Malls all night. Like on her back stoop. It's like, no, it has nothing. They're not going to like come knock on your door and be like, well, now your insurance premium is higher because we've got bad information about how you don't walk enough during the day.
But people think that way.
Totally
out there who think that way.
And listen, there are people who say, health data, that's mine and mine alone. I'm not going to participate. You don't have to. You have to go out of your way to participate. But if you do, Apple products like AirPods, Apple Watch, iPhone, all sorts of devices. I mean, even desktop devices, quite frankly, at some point, this can all potentially be better for you. Help you kind of know what's up before you have to know what's up.
I think I'm going to join the Apple Hearing Study. There's two right now that I see, open studies. Apple Women's Health Study and Apple Hearing Study. And I listen to, I use these a lot. So, is it too loud? Probably. And, maybe they can, maybe whatever I do can help, track patterns. Because, it's different for every age group. Age
group,
location.
gender. These are all things that really, really matter when it comes to research. If you survey 1,000 men between the ages of 30 and 35, that's great data, but it doesn't have a whole lot to do with me. So, it's like, the more people participate, the more you go, okay, here's data, here's how it differs based on all sorts of factors, lifestyle, where you live, who you are, who your friends are, all that stuff. It does play into our shared experience here on Earth.
And you want the devices, particularly if you use Apple devices, to be precise as much as they can, and they can't be precise without the data. So, we're not saying you should sign up, but there is use cases on why you should participate, so that your watch could work better, so your phone could work better in detecting, your steps.
That's totally how I feel about it. My mom, who has an Apple Watch and also an iPhone, I don't remember which one gave her the heads up, but she had done something. My mom broke her leg like almost a year ago today.
Right.
So she, the mobility was tough for a little while she was recovering, and she's fine now, thankfully. But, she got like a couple like fall detected. Did you fall? Couple things. And I'm like, I want that. I want that for all of us. If you didn't fall, then you didn't fall. But it's like, if I did, and there was an emergency situation, and whatever device is closest to me knows that I need help, like, I want help. Yeah. And if we don't give data to, companies, not just Apple, but, any company who's doing this for the right reasons. I know Google is doing a lot of research in, the health genre as well. I'm into it. But but again, it's opt-in. This is not something that they're doing behind the scenes that you have to like figure out and then opt out of. It's voluntary program, but could make our devices smarter than ever. And I'm not crazy about going to the doctor, so the more that I know, knowing is half the battle.
Exactly.
Well, Eileen, we could do this all day, but
I know. I'm like,
I know.
You gotta go because this morning I was like, oh my God, Sarah, what are we going to talk about today?
I know.
What are we going to talk about today? I'm like, what's spicy to talk about?
There are always those mornings where I'm just like, I don't know, and then it just happens. It just happens. It's like Tetris. It falls into place. But this was a lot of fun. Thank you to everybody for special thanks for those of you watching and listening live. Appreciate you. For everybody else listening or watching after the fact, appreciate you as well. AppleVisionShow.com is where to subscribe to the show. We'd love to have anybody who is enjoying what we're doing and isn't already subscribing to subscribe right the heck now. Until next time, thank you for listening. I'm Sarah Lane.
And I'm Eileen Rivera. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, that was fun. We did it again. Yay. I got to remember to put in the show notes the ugly article.
I know.
That was impromptu.
That was sort of just like a
totally
rogue
impromptu.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Apple. I'll put it in our show notes here. So I remember to paste it into the actual episode.
Just as a reminder to anyone who thinks it's impossible, You can go an entire year of doing a podcast and still not have a concrete closing.
Okay, you. We like it that way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
I think it's fun.
The thing I don't think about until we're closing the show, and I go, "Yep, let's just talk about going
there
rogue."
we go. Bye.
Yep. Bye.
It always keeps me on my toes because I don't know which banners I should be throwing up, or if I have time to throw up a banner before you guys sign off or whatever. And like it makes it a game for me.
What are they going to do this
So that's
week?
why we do it.
Yeah.
That's why we
Yeah.
keeping Amos
It's
on
for
his
you.
toes. Yeah. Good times. Good times.
What can it be? Can you guess? All right, Sarah, you've got
why-
another show, right?
I do. My recordings are still uploading, but I can just
Well,
leave
they will
it
be
going.
until we end the stream, so we need to tell people
Oh.
to buy
Bye, guys.
right.
Thank you. I have
Bye, y'all.
the show
The titles.
the titles, so I'll pick from one of those. It's awesome. Thank you.
you. Bye.
Bye.